The only difference between successful people and not is just how they think. Rich people think different. Quit letting people tell you got to get qualified in another program. You don't need another program to be successful. You need to change the way you think.
There are many ways to get the things that we want for ourselves in our lives. But basically, it all begins with how we choose to think. As you think, so shall you be.
Listen to me. Rich people think different. The only difference between successful people and not is just how they think. Rich people think different.
Poor thinking habits keeps most people poor. Not poor working habits. Most people work hard, but they don't think hard.
The largest gap between successful and unsuccessful people in life is the thinking gap. I'm not talking about being smart. I'm not talking about an IQ. I'm talking about how you think, how I think. Wise thinking leads to right living. Stupid thinking leads to wrong living. If you want to have a fulfilled life, you have to fill your mind correctly.
And Shoaff taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. He quoted me a Bible phrase that says, "As you think, so you become." I used to start the day reading the morning newspaper. I mean, you can believe that or not. I'd get a cup of coffee and read the paper. I'd load up on wars and riots and murders and stabbings and killings and bank robberies and muggings and car wrecks and tragedies. I'd even read the back pages. I seem to like that stuff for some weird reason. I'd load up on all that, and then I'd start the day. You can imagine the kind of days I used to have. How important. Stand guard at the door of your mind. And you decide what goes into your mental factory. Don't let anybody just dump anything they want to in your mental factory, because you've got to live with the results.
The poor will always be amongst us, because it starts up here. It's in their words, and the words become flesh. When they say, I can't afford it or I can't do that, they become what they say. And I meet so many people, I can't afford it. You think I'm made of money? My PhD dad, he says, what do you think I am, made of money? I can't afford that. Poor people say, I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time. Because it's an escape. How can I afford it? How can I do that? What would it take, or why should I do that? A question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. See, when you say, I can't afford it, your mind shuts down, and you become what you say.
Rich people are constantly improving their earning ability. You need to improve your earning ability. You need to find ways how you can add value to the marketplace. Poor people watch TV, and rich people read books. How many hours you spend in front of the TV, and when was the last time you read a book? How many books do you read per year?
Rich, poor, middle class, poverty starts with a fundamental attitude. My rich dad started teaching me about money on one condition. And that condition was he would never pay me. He says, the moment I pay you, you think like an employee. He says, that's the trap. Entrepreneurs work for free. The moment you accept the paycheck, your brain goes dead. Jesus got paid. He says, as long as you're hungry, you'll think.
Rich people, we take responsibility for our own failures. You see, for poor people, it's always somebody else's fault. It's the economy. It's the government. It's my boss. It's my job. It's my city. It's my neighbor. It's my friends. It's always somebody else. It's never their own fault. Rich people, we take responsibility. If your life stinks, it's your fault. We take responsibility for our own action. When you take responsibility, what happens is you gain power. The power to change. The power to do something different. We are what we repeatedly do. Human beings, we are creatures of habits. Getting rich is not an act. It is a habit. So it is staying poor. It's also not an act. It's not something that just happens to you. It is a habit.
The difference between successful people and non-successful people is right here. It ain't no difference. I ain't got no more than none of y'all got. God gave me the same thing he gave y'all. You don't need another program to be successful. You need to change the way you think. The problem with becoming a millionaire is that when you decide that you want to be a millionaire, you immediately start thinking, how can I become a millionaire? Well, that thought don't just pop into your head, so you get frustrated and you don't become a millionaire. And you start creating stuff like, well, I guess this wasn't the Lord's will. You can't think of how to make $1 million. Stop. But suppose I told you how you can become a millionaire with what you have. I am here to tell you that you can come from nothing and become something. Because here's the deal. All of you have everything it takes to become rich. You just don't believe it. I have the way for you to be rich. This is it. First of all of you have a gift. God gave it to you when he created you. The two most important days of your life is the day you're born and the day you discover why. All you have to do is uncover this gift that God gave you at birth. God never created a single soul without giving them a gift. Okay, let me tell you what you do. Go home today. Sit down and have one conversation with yourself. What is the thing that I do the absolute best with the least amount of effort? Write it down. I don't care if it's babysitting. I don't care if it's painting. Whatever it is, it's what you do. Sing it. Whatever you do the best, write it down. That's it. You ain't got to go asking a bunch of people. Now, let me ask you this question. This thing that you're gifted at, if you did it for somebody, do you think somebody would pay you $10 for your gift? Could you babysit for $10? Could you cut somebody's hair for $10? Could you cut their grass for $10? Could you do something for $10? Everybody. Don't you have something somebody would give you $10 for? Okay, now, once you have something that somebody's willing to pay you $10 for, this is how this works. It's called the multiples of 10. See, you don't have to figure out how to be a millionaire. You just got to figure out the thing that makes you $10. So now here we go. You do it and you make $10. Soon as they pay you the 10, go do it 10 more times. Whatever it was. Watch some more kids 10 more times. Get another 10. You got $100. When you get $100, whatever you did to make that $100, do it 10 more times. You'd have made $1,000. Whatever you did to make the $1,000, don't get smart. Stay stupid now. Do it 10 more times. Hold up. Now we finna grow a little bit, but guess what you gotta do to grow? You just gotta do some more. Whatever you made $10,000 doing, I need you to do it 10 more times. What you tripping for? If you do it 10 more times, you got $100,000. Now you might have to hire some people to make this happen. You got to figure that part out. But all you got to do is do what you did for $10. Once you make $100,000, if you just do it 10 more